Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my Loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I'm so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. Y'all, I have been moaning about how broke I am for the longest time, and I've been looking at it as a negative. And instead of looking at it like a negative, let's look at it as a positive and celebrate how many truly wonderful, affordable products are available at the drugstore. Because I have found an entire lineup of really, really gorgeous products. Everything is under $6. I tried to do it under $5 or like $5 and below, but I have a couple products that are like 18 and 29 cents over. So we're gonna do $6 and below. But I think even at $6, I think that's super, super manageable. Everything in here, everything that I'm gonna use in today's video, I stand behind 100%. These are some of my tried and true products, and they're really kind of fabulous. So I'm super, super excited about this. Guys, we are like, if you are in America or even anywhere else in the world right now, a recession is coming. We are not going to have money to buy, $50, $60 palettes. My puppies came in the house, so if you hear the puppies barking, my husband's out there playing with them. But a recession is coming. People just do not have the money for expensive makeup right now, and what money we do have is going to go towards bills, food, things like that, gas, right? And I hate to make money such a big part of my channel, but I am makeup for the everyday mama, right? I am solidly middle class, probably lower middle class. And, my husband, we are a one-income household. My husband works his hiney off to provide for us. We are blessed in the fact that we have everything that we need, and we don't struggle too awful much, but we do have to pinch pennies, and we have to be aware of what money we spend, and where we spend it. So as much as I love beauty and makeup and skincare and things like that, I also have to be a little bit of a frugal Franny, because like I said, I have a kid and he is expensive. Kids are expensive in general, and he always needs money. Things pop up. You have to have money put away for a rainy day. And I can't just every payday take whatever I want and go spend whatever I want, because there's lots of beautiful new makeup out on the market. Every once in a while, I will splurge and I will get a new product and be so in love with it. But for the most part, I pretty much stick to my drugstore treasures. I stick to my drugstore favorites, things that are super affordable, things that never let me down. And today's video is really just all about sharing those with you if you didn't know about them already. A little bit about me before we get started. I'm in my 30s. I do have, a couple of skin concerns. I have very, very dry skin. I also have fine lines around my eyes, on my forehead. So a lot of today's products are going to be geared towards hydration. They're going to be geared towards, like everyday kind of wear, and things that are super affordable but long wearing as well. And for dry skin. So I hope that you guys are excited. I hope that you guys are, ready to sit back, relax, and spend a little bit of time with me. I don't think today's video is going to be too awful long, but make sure you have a big old cup of coffee or hot tea. I am drinking my Lipton. This is my Lipton Passion Fruit Orange Blossom Green Tea. It is my absolute favorite. It's so good. And let's go ahead and dive right in. I already have my eyes done. The eyes are not part of today's video, but in case you are wondering, I did use the Beauty Bay Brights 2.0 palette. This is very quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite palettes. It is 100% 100% gonna be in my favorite palettes of the year video. I use this all the time. I think that the color story in this is just absolutely phenomenal. You have just about every shade in here that you would ever need. It's just, it's kind of perfect in my opinion. This is definitely not under $6. I think full price, it's around 25 or 26. I was able to get this half off. So instead of 25, I think I paid like 15 or 12. I got 2 palettes for 24 bucks, $25. So that's what, like 12, $13 a piece. I paid $13 for this palette. I think it is worth that all day long. Also, $13 for a 42 shade palette is phenomenal. That's a steal in and of itself. But this is what I used for my eyes. This is what we look like. We're going very, very Halloween-y, right? So I have the whole pumpkin-y kind of eye look going on. Very dark, smoky oranges, reds, and yellows. Very, very pretty. But for the face makeup, I want to stick to something a little bit lighter. I don't want to go super full coverage, but I do have a couple of different options for you guys for coverages. So I don't have a primer on yet. One of my absolute favorite primers is this. This is the Wet n Wild Glass Correct Primer. This helps with redness. It helps hydrate the face. This has skin looks naturally corrected and reflective as a crystal. The green color correcting filter corrects redness and provides a glowing complexion. Includes spirulina, which is high in antioxidants. There's just a couple of good for you ingredients in here. It feels incredibly hydrating on the face, and it helps to kind of correct a little bit of the redness that I have going on. I am in the process of being a little bit hormonal at the moment, so I'm a little bit more red than usual. I am going to go ahead and pin my hair back just a little bit though, because I have so much of it and it just gets in the way. I'm just going to toss it back real quick, and then we'll rub this primer in. It feels so beautifully hydrating on the skin, and I just absolutely adore the finish it leaves on my skin. When it says reflective like a crystal, it is not lying. It really just gives your skin this glass-like sheen that I am here for. I love so much. Look, instantly my face looks like it's a little bit more alive. It's just so good. It's so good. And then it's another like extra layer of hydration and moisture. And when you have super dry skin like I do, that is never, ever, ever a bad thing. And then for coverage. So I have two different, okay, so this Glass Correct primer goes for $5.28. Plus or minus, depending on where you pick it up from. This is the Target price. I do find that Target is sometimes, often, a little bit more expensive than Walmart. So if you get it at Walmart, it's going to be a little bit cheaper, just by a couple of cents though. So this is a really, really great option if you struggle with redness and dry skin. But we have a couple more Wet n Wild products. Now, guys, you know how much I love Wet n Wild. They are one of my very, very favorite affordable brands at the drugstore. I just think that they do things right. You know, when they get it right, they get it so right. And these are some of my absolute favorites. Now, I don't use this on my channel super often, but I do use it in daily life pretty often. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. This is the dewy version though, and then I have the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. I would say that I use the Tinted Hydrator more often than I use the Photofocus, just because I prefer kind of that light coverage for the most part. On top of that, this is just so beautifully hydrating. It looks like skin, but it leaves your skin looking so beautifully dewy and healthy. I just love this so much. But this is a great option if you want a little bit more coverage. I would say this is a solid medium coverage foundation. I have this one in the shade Nude Ivory. I do think that you need to shake this before you use it, just because it does have a tendency to separate just a little bit. Now, this is so odd because instead of this having a pump, it has this kind of paddle attachment. That is so odd. It's not odd like in a bad way. It's just, you don't see a lot of foundations that have applicators quite like this. Also, This smells like straight up paint thinner. It smells like straight up paint thinner. Not my favorite smell in the world. I think it smells quite a bit like the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the smell of the Camo Concealer either. But luckily, it does dissipate pretty quickly once you start getting it worked out on the face. This is perhaps maybe just a touch light for me at the moment. Also, I am using my very, very favorite sponge in the whole wide world. This is the e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. This is incredibly affordable as well. A lot of times you can find these on sale. I don't think it's too much more expensive. I didn't look this up today, but I don't think it's too much more expensive than $5. And on top of that, this sponge will last you absolutely forever if you make sure and keep it clean. I usually wash mine every other use, and I just use a little bit of dish soap. Cuts through the oil of the foundation like butter. It is so, so good. Gets really nice and clean. But if you keep your sponge clean, it will last you absolutely forever. Now, guys, again, I have super, super dry skin, but look how beautifully this foundation has blended out on my skin. It leaves, paired with the Dewy primer, with the glass primer, it leaves the most beautiful kind of sheen, healthy glow, like lit from within glow on the face. The coverage, I would say it took care of all of my redness. You can still see some of my freckles and things like that poking through, but I enjoy that. I don't want to put a mask on. There are times when a mask is exactly what I'm looking for, and I want all the coverage, but for the most part, for like a daily kind of makeup routine, I go for coverage more like this, where it's just helping to even out my skin tone, cover up a little bit of that redness and hyperpigmentation that I have, just kind of even out my skin tone. I think it is beautiful. I think the color is pretty spot on, maybe just a little bit light for me, but we are going to go in with contour and bronzer, all that good stuff, so it will, you know, it will even out eventually. I just think it is a really, really great option. Did I tell you guys how much this foundation costs? Probably not. I should warn you that it is, again, super, super late because I can never find the time to film at a decent hour like a normal person. So it's like 11:30 in the evening. So I'm going to try very, very hard not to be completely and totally brain dead, but please forgive me if I have a couple of brain farts. I'm sure they're going to happen. So this Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation, this goes for $5.29 at Walmart. Guys, for a foundation for such a beautiful foundation. Not only that, how much do you get in here? So you get 0.95 fluid ounces, so a little bit less than a full fluid ounce, which is usually the standard. You're paying $5.29, rounded up to $5.30. Guys, I think that's a really, really great price. You're getting a great amount of product. You're getting a great product in general. Comes in this really cute glass jar. I just think it is a no-brainer if you're looking for something that wears beautifully throughout the day, doesn't dry out your skin. I think this is a winner, winner, winner. Talking about the Tinted Hydrator, the Tinted Hydrator goes for $4.92, so it's a little bit more affordable. You get a little bit less in here as well. So this is 0.91 fluid ounces, so you get a little bit more product in here than you do in here. Pretty much the same amount though. This is a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit less coverage, definitely more hydrating. It is beautiful. It is so, so gorgeous on the skin. I will use this in an upcoming video, I am sure, just because now that I've pulled it out, I really want to put it on my face. I wanted a little bit more coverage today, though, to kind of pair it with the eyes, but both of these are great, great options, and they're both under $6. So yes, please. So now that we're blended out, now that our base is all evened out, we've taken care of the redness, we're going to do the rest of our cream products. So concealers are one of those things at the drugstore that can be a little bit expensive. I don't really usually, I'm terrible with numbers, right? So I don't usually remember how much things cost. And I was looking up the prices of some of my concealers, and I was kind of flabbergasted. Concealers are expensive. I really enjoy the NYX Serum Foundation. Definitely over $6. I really love the Revlon Skin Awaken. This is my favorite at the moment. This is closer to $8. So couldn't use it for this video. I also really enjoy the L'Oreal Infallible, and this is even more expensive. This is closer to $10. So concealers is one of those things that you really kind of have to look for if you're on a budget and really just need the cheapest concealer that you can find. The Wet n Wild Incognito concealer is a fantastic option. I couldn't find mine though. That was the one that I wanted to use for today's video. I'm gonna have to go pick up another one. I don't know what happened to it. I must have finished it off and forgotten to repurchase, but that is my absolute favorite. That is the one that I would recommend to you. It is under $6. It is absolutely phenomenal. Great coverage. I would say it's like solid medium coverage. It's got a beautiful skin-like finish. It's fantastic. Because I don't have that today, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. The e.l.f. Camo Concealer goes for $5 on the dot. This one, this price was from Amazon, so $5 on Amazon. I have mine in the shade Fair Rose. This is usually what I use to cut my crease. It is a very light shade, so I'm going to be pretty sparing with it. Also, this is a pretty full coverage product as well, so a little bit of it goes a long way. This has been compared to Tarte Shape Tape and things of that nature. It's a really beautifully full coverage product. I do find it to be a little bit drying on the skin, not in a way that is super unattractive. This is a product definitely where less is more. You just want to put enough on to take care of any darkness or discoloration. But this is definitely not one of those products that you just kind of pile on and blend out. I can kind of go crazy with my Revlon concealer and just kind of pile that onto my face, and it just blends out and disappears into the skin. But also the Revlon does not have anywhere near as much coverage as the e.l.f. does. I think the e.l.f. is like a heavy duty concealer. Like if you have serious skin concerns or serious dark circles or discoloration that you are like, you want to hide, cover, like if you want a concealer that is gonna fix all of your mistakes, this is the one for you. And again, I have super dry skin, and in small amounts, I think this concealer is beautiful on the skin. It took care of the worst part of my under eye circles, kind of brightened up the center of my face. I don't think it's making my under eyes look unnecessarily heavy or dry, but again, just moderation is key with this product. But when you do small amounts, I do think it is really beautiful. Also, it's one of these those concealers that is semi self-setting. I do find that if I don't set it at all, it does crease on me just a little bit. But it takes the smallest amount of concealer or the smallest amount of powder to really set it down, and then it hangs around all day. I don't find that it creases on me or you know, gets heavy or gross looking throughout the day. Once you set it, it pretty much just stays there and does exactly what you want it to do, which is what you want from a concealer. And especially for a concealer for $5. I never really understood how expensive concealers really are. When you really start to take a look at things, you know, the clouds part, and you really like understand. But concealers are expensive, so for a full coverage concealer for a product like this, for e.l.f., for a brand, to be able to come out with such an amazing product for such a great price, I'm just thankful. I'm grateful that they're giving us options, right? Because variety is the spice of life. And not everybody wants to spend $13 on a concealer, right? And for $5, you cannot beat that. I am very, very happy with it. So we're concealed. I've taken care of any of my darkness. We're going to move on to our powder products. Before I do that though, I want to talk to you guys about this cream blush. So this is the Believe Beauty. This is the Color Me Cream Blush in the shade Tropical Sunset. I also have it in the shade Baby Doll. I wore that the other day. It is the most beautiful kind of like everyday baby pink color. Stunning. But this one is just the most amazing bright orange, super, super pigmented. I'm going to go heavy on it because I am going to powder my face. And I want to be able to see this after I get everything powdered. But this is such an incredibly pigmented product. Super, super easy to use as well. It just kind of blends in almost effortlessly. Guys, it is so, so pigmented. And this is only $4 at Dollar General. I think cream blushes are one of those things where if you're trying to find one for under $5, you have options, right? I really, really love the LA Colors cream gel blushes. Those are fantastic. I get those at Dollar Tree and they are amazing. They have a bunch of different colors to choose from. And I almost was going to use those today, but I didn't have an orange one, and I wanted to kind of match my look, you know, match my blush. I wanted to go for something a little bit monochromatic today, and I didn't have an orange shade in the LA Colors blushes, but I do want to show them to you really, really quickly because they are so incredible. I use them literally all the time. Yeah, so this is what they look like. This is the LA Colors Cream Gel Blush. They come in probably like 5 or 6 different colors that I've seen. They are $1.25 at Dollar Tree, and they are absolutely phenomenal. This is the shade Hypnotized. It is a really, really gorgeous kind of neutral peach color, but they're so beautifully pigmented. Ugh. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And then they blend out to this really gorgeous, beautiful, I mean, how many adjectives can I use? But it's just a really beautiful sheer wash of color on the face. They dry down completely. They don't stay sticky or tacky on the skin. These are a fantastic, fantastic option. I wanted to talk about the Believe Beauty ones though, because I don't think that I've spoken about them recently. And I know that I've talked about the LA Colors blushes recently in a video. And I wanted to highlight, again, variety is the spice of life. I wanted to highlight something a little bit different. But guys, look how beautiful this is. It leaves the skin with a little bit of that kind of glowy sheen. There is no glitter or shimmer or anything to these blushes at all. It just, they're beautifully hydrating on the skin. They just go on and they look so natural. I'm going for a very, very heavily blushed look today. Again, I'm going to powder and stuff on top of this, so it will fade just a little bit. But look how beautiful that color is. It just goes on. It does exactly what you want it to do. They have a couple of different colors, and this Tropical Sunset color, I just think is absolutely everything. I love a really good orange blush, though. Orange and peachy blushes just make my heart happy. And this is a really spectacular, spectacular color. Put a little bit on my nose. Look how beautiful and glowy my face looks. I'm just so, so happy with it. Believe Beauty is one of those brands I don't think it gets talked about enough. Their foundation is really, really good. I feel like if you have more oily skin, I feel like their foundation is going to work beautifully for you. I do find it to be just a tad bit drying on my dry skin, but so the wear time isn't fantastic for the Believe Beauty foundation, but it does look beautiful for about, I want to say like 4, 5, 6 hours tops, and then it just turns really crusty and dusty on me, but it does look beautiful up until that point. If you had oilier skin, I really think it would work out beautifully for you. Oh, I just feel pretty. I just feel glowy and fresh and dewy. So moving on to powder products, I have, I want to set my under eyes really quickly. So this powder I want to talk to you guys about is the Wet n Wild Barefocus Clarifying Finishing Powder. This goes for $4.29 at Walmart. This is a gorgeous translucent powder. I'm going to take this on my e.l.f. This is just my e.l.f. tapered highlighting brush. They don't sell this brush anymore, but they do sell a blush brush that looks very similar to this. Not quite as tapered, but super similar to this. Same density and everything. It is stunning. It is an amazing highlighting brush. It's an amazing powder brush, blush brush. They're just so versatile. I think the e.l.f. brushes in general are fantastic. Every time I go to Walmart, I try to pick up, if I have money, I try to pick up a couple of them, just because it seems like they're always coming out with something new. e.l.f. is one of those brands that doesn't let you get too bored too awful quickly. They're always coming out with something new, something exciting. I do think, especially for a super affordable drugstore brand, I think they're pretty innovative as well. I think e.l.f. is, they're getting a little bit more expensive, but you know, with inflation, that's kind of to be expected. I would say they're definitely more expensive than Wet n Wild, but fantastic. There are so many e.l.f. products that are my holy grail. I love their contouring palettes. I love a lot of their primers. The e.l.f. Holy Hydration Makeup Melting Balm is one of my absolute favorites. There's just a ton of e.l.f. products. e.l.f. is another one of those brands that they do, when they do it, they do it right. They get it so right for really incredible prices. Most e.l.f. products, I would say, range from around like $8 to $10, from the $8 to $10 mark. They do like the Camo Concealer and things like that. They do have a couple of products that are under, you know, like around the $5 mark, but as a whole, they are a little bit more expensive than Wet n Wild. I would say the most affordable drugstore brands that have like quality products are going to be Essence, Profusion. Profusion is one of my absolute favorites. You've got Wet n Wild, you've got e.l.f. I would say those are the four most affordable. LA Girl and LA Colors are really great as well. I mean, as long as you can remember, right? If you're on a budget, there are 100% so many options out there, but I think it's super easy to get overwhelmed sometimes, just because when you go to the drugstore and you're looking for makeup, it's just walls upon walls of product, right? There are so many different options. I was looking online, and the concealer options alone were just incredible. There's got to be at least 50 or 60 different concealer options on the Walmart website alone, right? So, and they don't even carry everything. So the options are limitless, and though options are fantastic, it can also be super overwhelming. And I'm hoping that this video is going to help you in some small way with that, to help maybe not be quite so overwhelmed. Maybe you're looking to replace something in your collection. Maybe you're looking to branch out and just want to try something new. Hopefully this video will be helpful to you in some small measure. So I set my entire face with this product. It is completely set. I'm not sticky, tacky in any way, but I still have that glow. I don't look powdery. I don't look heavy. I don't look crusty, dusty, musty. It's just beautifully, just set enough without being heavy, without being sticky. I think it's gorgeous. Now we're going to go into contouring and bronzing. Now, you guys, this is another one of my absolute holy grails. I've talked about it 1,000,001 different times. This is the Profusion Highlight and Contour 1 palette. So I chose this because this is a little bit more expensive than $5. I think this is, yeah. So this is $5.18. Not too high over $5. But guys, the fact that you have both contouring and highlighting options in this palette makes it a home run for me. The tones in here are absolutely spot on. As you can tell, this palette is definitely very, very loved by me. I love the highlighters in here. I love the contour shades. This shade right in the center, this is Light Sculpt. It is the absolute perfect contouring tone. It's got the tiniest amount of warmth to it, but it's got that kind of cool shadowy undertone that really makes a believable contour for my skin tone. It's fantastic. And then on top of that, the highlights in here are just incredibly reflective, really, really gorgeous. And again, you get options. I will say, however, that some of the highlighters in here can be just a little bit glittery. I mean, not big chunky glitter, but there is a little bit of glitter in there. This one in particular, Impulse, I don't find to be super glittery. It's very smooth. It's not chunky on the skin at all. I'm going to swatch it for you right here. This is my favorite highlight in the palette. So this is Impulse, and then this is Hype. This is the darker gold. So Impulse is the one that I use the most often. It is just a really beautiful, soft golden highlight. It looks stunning on the skin. But what I really want to highlight in this palette, or really want to talk about in this palette, I have a new one. I, of course, have a backup. I really want to talk about this sculpting powder. So I'm going to take a very small, this is the e.l.f. powder brush. It's just a teeny tiny fluffy brush, and I want to go into Light Sculpt really, really quickly. Now these are beautifully pigmented, so you don't need a ton of product at a time, but I'm just going to go into that Light Sculpt and start gently building up that color around, and I'm taking small amounts of product and using circular buffing motions to buff that in along the perimeter of my face. This is going to help to give my face a little bit of shape. It's going to create a little bit of depth and dimension as well. Help me look a little bit more snatched. It's an absolute perfect contour. But if you're in a hurry, if you're in a rush, and you don't have time to both contour and bronze, I think that this is the kind of contour that has enough warmth to it that it could kind of it could be a bronzer step instead of just straight up contour, just because it does have that little bit of warmth in it. So it brings the life back to the face while sculpting it as well. I just think it's a fantastic color. And if this color is a little bit too subtle for you, not enough, not enough depth for you, I love that they have an even deeper option in here. Now this color, I want to swatch the two. So this is the, can y'all even see that? Yeah. So this is the lighter shade and this is the darker shade. I think they're absolutely stunning. They both have that really beautiful, deep kind of shadowy undertone to them. So they can both be used as a contour. I use the lighter one when I want to go in with a separate bronzer, but I use the darker one if I want to skip the bronzer, because the darker shade has just a touch more warmth to it. And as you can see, I'm just kind of fluffing it out around the perimeter of my face. It's a beautifully blendable powder as well. It's super mobile. It just kind of goes exactly where you want it to. It's not too much. It's not too harsh. Just goes on and is a really believable, super easy sculpting product. Now, if you're looking for something that is not a powder and you want something a little bit creamier, I highly recommend the e.l.f. contour palette. It is one of my absolute favorites as well. Now they have both a cream and powder contouring palette. I really love the cream contour palette. It has, again, it's more of like a bronzer palette in my opinion. The creams in there have just a little bit of, definitely more warmth than this powder does. They have a little bit more warmth to them, but they have, again, a little bit of that shadowy kind of undertone that makes them a really beautiful, believable contour. I'm going to take the same shade and take it down the sides of my nose. Carve out my nose just a touch. Not going for anything super sculpted today. Just kind of shaping everything up. A little bit under my lower lip as well. And there's definitely something to be said for a product that's easy to use as well, right? We don't want something that we have to sit here and blend for hours, or something that we have to sit here and struggle with. We just want something that we can slap on our face and be out the door. And I think that looks beautifully blended. I think I have a little bit more shape to my face. I'm highlighted, I'm contoured, I'm ready to go. I do think I need to add a little bit more color, and I need to add a little bit more warmth to my face. So we're gonna go into the Essence Matte Bronzer. This is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This goes for $4.99 on Ulta. Amazing, amazing price. You get a nice, generous pan of this really gorgeous, gorgeous bronzer. I think the packaging on this is really beautiful as well. I love the embossing on the pan. I think Essence does a really great job of giving you drugstore luxury. And when I say drugstore luxury, it is definitely a drugstore product. It definitely has drugstore packaging. But they've taken the time to elevate it just enough to make you feel like you're treating yourself when you're really not, right? And packaging is important, whether we like to admit it or not. We all like pretty things. We all like pretty packaging. We all want to feel like we're doing something special for ourselves. No matter what we're doing, right? We want to feel like we're treating ourselves to something. And I think Essence is really great for doing that. Not with all of their packaging, but with some. It's a nice, heavy, thick, durable plastic. It's super thin, so it would be easy to travel with. And the color of this is really gorgeous as well. I want to swatch this for you. It's a really beautiful bronzer, but again, it's not overly warm. It doesn't pull orange, it doesn't pull red. It's just a beautifully soft kind of bronzer that goes on really, really easily. I just kind of, again, hit the perimeters of my face. I kind of take my bronzer up where I take my blush as well, and kind of mix the two. So I have that really beautifully, naturally sun-kissed look. I like to take it all around the perimeter of my face, but it blends effortlessly, and it instantly adds that little bit of warmth, that little bit of life back to the skin, and for under $5, $4.99. I mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat it at all. Really, really great product. I was super impressed with this the first time that I tried it. It also has it's got a slight, very, very slight coconut kind of scent to it, which I adore. I love scented products anyway. The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous bronzer. It's got a beautiful scent to it, but that bronzer is like $12, right? And this is pretty much the same thing. If we're being honest, I prefer this one over the Physicians Formula just because I like the color. I like the tone of it a little bit better. I think the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer is stunning, but it's a little bit warm, whereas this one has just a little bit more of a lighter, kind of cooler undertone to it, which makes it look, it just makes it more appealing for my skin tone. And I really like to hit the tops of my face, the high points of my face with this. Just anywhere that the sun would touch my face naturally. Just to give myself a little bit of a glow, and I think it's absolutely stunning. We're going to go back into the highlight and contour palette, and we're going to go into that highlight. This is the Profusion palette. We're going to go into the shade Impulse. I'm going to take my Moda, this is just my Moda Highlight and Glow brush, one of my very, very favorite highlighting brushes. I'm going to dip into Impulse, and you guys are going to see this absolutely immediately. It is so, so beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. Doesn't leave any like giant cast on the skin. It doesn't emphasize my texture. By its nature, anything with shine in it is going to slightly enhance texture, but it doesn't enhance my texture in a way that makes me think like, you know, I look old or gross or anything like that. It's just a really, really beautiful glow to the skin. Oh, so, so pretty. And guys, the fact that you can get this quality of a product for $5 $5.18 to be exact, I think is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to go hard on the highlight. I also like to take just a little bit on my forehead. I have quite a large forehead, so why not put some highlighter there down the center of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. We look beautifully glowy. Highlight does fade throughout the day. I am also, I don't think I'm going to set my face today. I don't think that I need to. But guys, for the most part, that is the face. What do we think? I do have a lip product, so I didn't look this up, but I am positive this is under $6. This is the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousse. Ugh. So it is a beautifully pigmented, super soft, moussey texture. It just goes on the lips. It's pigmented, but not like in your face pigment. I don't know. It just makes it really easy to do that like blotted lip look. I'm not going to use a lip liner. I'm just going to put a little bit right in the center. And then I'm going to take my finger, kind of run that, and kind of blot it off. But it manages to be glossy, but matte at the same time. It's the oddest thing. It's the oddest formula, but in the best way. I just love it. It gives you that really beautifully kind of slept in, worn lip look that I think is so attractive. You have this really beautiful, bright, bold eye and this really soft, contrasting lip. I just think it is so pretty. Guys, this is the finished look for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that I showed you something new, or maybe made you think about the way that you purchase products, or the way that you approach purchasing products. Guys, money is tight for all of us right now. At least it is for me. And I know wherever I can pinch a penny is always helpful. Guys, as always, I will list everything that I talked about in today's video in the description box below, along with the links to my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I have a TikTok and a reel coming on this eye look very shortly. I always post finished pictures over on Facebook and Instagram, so if you're not following me over there, make sure you go do that. If you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a moment of content. As always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, playing with some super affordable makeup, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. And until next time, my beautiful, amazing mamas, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.